welcome to 2 by 2. Today we resume our study of the books of the Bible. But before we begin, I want to talk about what the two major questions are that we seek to understand and answer here in 2 by 2. The first question is, who is God? Who is God? The reason we start here is because from infants all the way up through elementary school, or from babies through about 5th grade, this question, who is God, is one of the most important faith questions. Who is this God that everyone keeps talking about? What do you already know about him? What else do you want to know about him? We want to try and answer these questions by reading the stories from the Bible. The second question we seek to understand and answer is, who am I? From elementary school through high school, a lot changes. But along the way, the question, who am I, continues to be a question that we try to answer for ourselves. And here in 2 by 2, I want to help you discover who you are, as well as affirm who I know you to already be. First and foremost, you are a child of God, created in God's image. We know that all of us humans are created in God's image, and we know that from the beginning of Genesis, at the beginning of the Bible. But what does it really mean to be a child of God? What can you do because you're a child of God? What things are you good at, and how can you use those gifts to build God's kingdom here on earth? We try to answer these questions by reading from the stories from the Bible, as well as by building relationships with one another. Due to COVID, it's been hard to answer this question together and to talk about it together because we're apart. I'm here right now filming this in front of a camera, and you're at home sitting watching me through the screen. It's tough for us to talk about who do you think you are? What does it mean to be a child of God? All of those questions. But if you ever want to talk in person, ask a parent or guardian to reach out to someone, me or someone else here at Plymouth Heights, so that we can open the door to a conversation with you. So today we turn to the book of Hebrews with these two questions on our mind. Who is God and who am I? Pastor Steve preached on Hebrews 1, verse 1 through 4, and he read the passage from the NIV Bible. But today we're going to look at it from the Message. The Message says, for Hebrews 1, verse 1 through 4, going through a long line of prophets, God has been addressing our ancestors in different ways for centuries. That's hundreds of years. Recently, he spoke to us directly through his Son. By his Son, God created the world in the beginning, and it will all belong to the Son at the end. This Son perfectly mirrors God and is stamped with God's nature. He holds everything together by what he says. Powerful words. After he finished the sacrifice for sins, the Son took his honored place high in the heavens right alongside God, far higher than any angel in rank and rule. So this Son that the passage keeps referring to, Son being S-O-N, is Jesus. And I want us to remember that as we keep talking, just that when we hear the word God's Son, we're referring to Jesus. So, who is God, according to Hebrews 1, verse 1 through 4? It says in the passage, God created the world. So God is a creator. Creator. It means to make things, to create things in a sense, to develop things. He created everything that we see. Specifically, we can see God in nature and the things he created in nature. So right now, if you're near a window, I want you to go over to it and look outside it and say out loud 3 things that you see. Did you name them? Those are things that God created because God is a creator. So who am I? Who are we, according to this passage? It's hard to find it in this passage, but if we dig a little deeper, we can figure it out. In the passage we read, recently He spoke to us directly through his Son. He, being God, spoke directly through his Son, Jesus. So God spoke to us by giving us the stories of Jesus. When someone is reading you a story, whether it be a parent, a grandparent, a friend, a babysitter, whoever it might be, what do you have to do to really understand that story? You have to listen. So God calls us to listen to the stories of Jesus so that we can learn more about him. We're listeners. Listeners. We find out that we are listeners, that we are people that listen to the stories of Jesus and learn from them. And through those stories of Jesus, we can learn how to love others in our lives. And we love because God first loved us. This week, I encourage you to write down on a piece of paper 3 things that God created as a reminder to you that God is a creator. And then I encourage you this week to listen to a story. Whether it's a story from a picture book, a story from the Bible, maybe a story that you watch on TV. Whatever it might be, I encourage you to spend some time listening to stories because we are listeners. Thanks so much for joining me this week and discovering a little bit more about who God is and who we are. I'll see you next time.